Attention, you are now listening to a Final Level podcast with Ice-T
and Mick Benzo.
If you are offended by words like shit, fuck, ass, low motherfucker, whatever,
stop this podcast now.
And by the way,
this is the hardest podcast on earth. Hey, what's up out there? This is Ice-T and Mick Benzo.
And this is podcast number 41, baby.
You've entered the drama-free zone, the bitch-free zone. We ain't talking no shit. We just giving you facts. Thank you for supporting us for all these podcasts, and we are just happy to have you as a listener. Those of you that may be new, push subscribe on whatever podcast server you listening to it on so that you don't have to look for them. It'll just download we come out every 2 weeks. But, you know, we just really want to let you know we appreciate it. You guys reach out to me on Twitter all the time and saying that you like it. And you know, Mick, I mean, how you feel about these listeners?
Hey,
man?
Look, man, the listeners are great, man. You know, when I go to iceandmick@gmail.com, you should see how many comments they be sending to us, man. They love this podcast. Really, they said this is the hardest podcast in the podcast.
Yeah, we say this is the hardest podcast on earth. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I call it a drama-free zone. We ain't with all the bullshit.
Hey, it be no gossip up here neither. We don't do that shit.
Yeah, whenever somebody gossips, we say you sound like a bitch.
So we don't do that. No gossiping around here.
None of that. If the man ain't in the room, we won't talk about him.
Exactly.
Unless we going to talk highly about him. You know, 50 Cent told me, he says, no man could be great alone. You're only great when other great men speak of you in high regard.
Okay, that's when your back is turned. They say great things about you.
That's what you want in life.
Yeah.
That's what you really want in life. And we're very fortunate today to have a super guest.
You know, but before you get to that, right, I want to say thank you. No,
motherfucker.
You gotta listen, but you gotta listen, I'm saying.
I had launched in so beautifully to this shit.
But I can't do it without letting my loudspeaker network know they are some bad motherfuckers up here, B.
Loudspeaker network.
They're some bad motherfuckers, man.
I heard they got something going on with Google Word on the streets.
Oh, shit. That's some new. That's brand new, though. I think we shouldn't have told everybody yet, though. But fuck them.
You the nigga that just opened your mouth when I was getting ready to segue into...
Yeah, because I want to give my loudspeaker network some love, man. You know? I can't help it, man. Shameless plug and all that, you know?
Yeah, well, I hope.
So who's in the
Are we going to get any new words today from the Mictionary? Because last episode, people said there was not enough words from the Mictionary.
Mictionary will find you some from my dictionary, baby. You know what I mean?
Mictionary, just keep talking freely. You definitely will.
I'll spit some shit out. I'll spit something.
But in the building, Mickey, can I introduce him now?
For sure. Let's go, baby.
The man that I consider the first super producer of hip hop. I'm not talking about producing one act. I'm talking about producing everybody who was on the radio at the same time, you know. And no, this is not Dr. Dre.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dr. Dre.
No, Dr. Dre is the super producer.
Oh, so we talking about somebody from the East Coast.
I'm talking about the first super producer. When every record came on the radio, he had produced it. Damn. In the place. Yeah. The one and only.
Yeah.
Marley Marl. DJ Marley
Marl's in the building.
What's up? How y'all, man? Damn, we up in here?
Yeah, for real.
What's
real,
up, man? It's real. It's real.
Baby.
Yo, that's what's going on. How y'all, man? How y'all?
We just happy to have you here, Marley. And you know, like me being a West Coast rapper, I idolized a lot of the music you were doing. I was talking to you early when I heard, you know, all these records. It's a demo, Roxanne Shante, all this kind of stuff. I was like, you know, because I was connected to the Zulu Nation.
For sure.
Correct.
But y'all was in Queens, right? For sure. So I was like, damn, man, would I ever meet Marley Marl? Would he, like, I was the kind of guy that wanted to be considered a rapper. Gotcha. But I knew that somebody like you who was working with Kane and all them, I was so concerned about how my respect would be with the real. You know, once you come out the studio with Cool G Rap, and then a nigga like Ice-T walks up. I mean, am I a sucker? I don't know. But, you know, when I finally got to meet you and the level of respect you showed me and the love you showed in our movie, The Art of Rap.
Mm-hmm. Yes, was in there. Yeah, that was love.
You definitely put me in. Thanks for that, man, because I didn't see a lot of producers in the movie. I guess only me and Dre was the only producers in the movie, and that was a good look, and thank you for that big look. And I had to look. When I first met you from the gate, come on, if you're going to make 6 in the morning, man, I got to respect the man that makes 6 in the morning because that was a blueprint for us, too. You get what I'm saying? That made us like, wow, you could talk about that.
Yeah, we
on
didn't.
record.
Yeah, that was.
So, that was a door opening thing for me, man.
Yeah, that's because, like you said, we on the East Coast. That was a West
Right,
Coast
right.
play. We failed to realize that there was other things happening. When we found out a brother named Ice-T was doing, we like, God damn, that shit is kind of fly.
Well, you know what?
It was an East Coast, West Coast thing, like Big Daddy Kane and Ice-T. Then that's why the art of rap, it was only, Dr. Dre and Marley Marl. See, East Coast, West Coast.
Well, it also was my journey. Art of rap was my journey. The people that I came in contact with. A lot of people said, well, at the South, I said, well, I knew Master P, I knew Luke Skywalker, but that was my journey, the people that I actually had contact with. And people say, well, 6 in the morning was groundbreaking, but you're dealing with a street guy. Did you see Straight Outta Compton?
Oh,
yes.
Right,
Damn
okay.
right.
Yes.
You remember how they took Easy in the studio and Easy wasn't really a rapper?
Right, there you go.
I wasn't really a rapper, so all I had to rap about was street shit.
Gotcha.
So they took me in the studio, and I'm like, well, I'm going to try to rap, but I'm going to rap about what I know, and I bring a new element into the music, which was street shit, which hip-hop was really based around parties.
Right.
So then when I came back and I wrote Original Gangsters, I said when I tried to write about parties, it didn't fit. 6 in the morning. In one song, I had a hot record and an identity.
Gotcha.
And I remember Russell Simmons came at me and he said, "That's you. Stick with that. That's you."
You opened up a new lane in hip hop, B.
Now, was that a you
not
definitely did. Was
intentionally.
that a real story though? Was 6 in the morning? Was police really at your door?
Not really, but not really. It was when they came.
That's the
that's
time
around
they
the time.
moved.
Yeah, that's the
was-
Marshall's hour.
Yeah, and
I call that Marshall hour.
what I write, Marley, was what I called faction.
There you
It
go.
was fictional stories using factual things. Like everything had to be real. Like Shawnee Shine had a blazer with the Louis interior. We was coming. If you bust a left turn, you are on Crenshaw. So by adding all these elements, back on the street after 5 and the Deuce 7 years later, still had the juice. When I say I got back on the strip when I got my hair done on my shoulders at lay, I had the perm. So it was all about creating a story about a guy that likes hip hop, went out on a date and ended up going to jail and ended up stuck and came back home and this got in more drama.
Guess what, though? You opened up a new lane in
Hell
hip hop.
yeah.
All the way from Los Angeles, California. You did it first, but Marley was killing them over here.
No, the beats, right? So
Yeah.
what
But
is
you had Africa Islam working with you, though, the Prince of Charm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Africa
Come on,
Islam.
you got to give Islam
but
some
see,
love.
But
there,
see,
G.
Africa Islam was a DJ, right? Not producing. Marley Marl was already producing records. I remember when me and Islam bought all the drum machines, and Islam was like, okay, I'm about to start producing. Marley was already producing. So Iz was DJing like a motherfucker, but he had an arsenal of records. And when Iz started producing, we had an SB12 and bullshitting, but he was, back then niggas didn't even know how to sample really.
Yeah.
And so Iz was like, if you listen to early Ice-T records, you see a lot of break beats in there. Lots.
That was that New York
Islam.
flavor. Yeah.
That was Islam thing. No, you got this is Apache. This is the
Bongo rock,
bongo
Apache,
rock
right,
drums. And I'm like, I don't know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm from L.A., but he gave me that flavor. But back to Marley Marl.
For real.
Yeah.
He's in the house. We're gonna get deep.
We're going
into
to get to
it.
Marley, though, man. We got some things to talk about before we reach our DJ Marley Marl.
Oh,
We
yeah.
need y'all
Oh,
to
yeah.
stay right where y'all at, though.
Because we here.
That's what we need. Yeah, we here, Marley.
You're gonna get the truth this time. Marley. Everybody has so many stories about us and stuff, and on a podcast, you have the time to tell the whole
That's what's
story.
up.
I don't know who's going first or who's going last.
But I know it's gonna be rocking up in this BI.
All right. Welcome to Final Level Podcast number 41, and this is news. Yeah, I went to an event last night, and it was the Paley Center's Media's Tribute to African American Achievements in Television.
It was for TV or film?
It was for African Americans' achievement in television, but they honored sports, they honored music. But it was so interesting to me, and I was there. Terrence Howard was there from Empire. All my co-stars from Law and Order were there. Tyler Perry was there. All the people that have something to do with television. But you don't realize that black people have just been on television like 50 years or even less.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. My age, I grew up watching the Munsters, Leave It to Beaver, and all those kinds of shows.
My Three Sons.
You just never thought about black people. You just really just felt that's how life is.
Right.
You know, and slowly but surely we started to get on television, and you know, one of the first shows on television was Amos and Andy.
Yeah.
But that came off radio, and radio, Amos and Andy was played by two white guys.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Wow.
So television kind of forces you to keep it real. Now you can't hide behind the mic, you know, and the first interracial kiss was on Star Trek.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know, so all this stuff, I'm sitting up there learning about how, you know, they wouldn't let Lucy and Ricky sleep in the same bed and because they were interracial.
Hold up. Back to Star Wars. You mean Captain Kirk put his lips on Uhura?
Yeah, he got it in.
Ooh.
Wow.
Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk was hitting everything.
He fucked everything in space.
Any planet.
That's it.
Any animal.
It said Captain Kirk, beam me up. Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk was fucking hard, right? And the cool thing about Captain Kirk, well, he would fuck things that were like rocks, like they was like a sponge, but they had a cloaking device, right? So in Kirk's eyes, the bitch looked fine as a motherfucker, right? But really, she was a sponge,
Right.
That's true.
But he'd stick his dick in
Captain Kirk was a motherfucker, wasn't he? We missed you too, though, Spock, because you said, Spotty, bing me up.
it. Yeah, Spock wasn't about pussy. Spock was too psychological. Spock was just chilling.
Now Spock was a closet freak.
Yeah,
you still missed, though, brother. You definitely missed me.
yeah.
Nah, but that's big, though. You saying it was like for African Americans on television.
Yeah.
And it's been, like you said, maybe just about 50 years, because I can remember, like, Sammy Davis Jr. and Flip Wilson, and then came those other programs like
Good
Times, you know, but it was always comedies that we were growing up on. It was always so depressing, you know what I mean?
Well, the people that really were known as groundbreakers were Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
Ed Sullivan put the Jackson 5 on. He put James Brown on. And also Dick Clark.
Dick Clark
Dick
did
Clark
it well.
broke a lot of black artists.
American Bandstand.
And that was against the grain. And slowly he had to get black dancers out there on the dance floor, too. So a lot of these people really fought racism and stuff. And with television, television is powerful. It can create a stereotype or it can break a stereotype real quick. And, you know, they were asking me, they really honored Dick Wolf because Law and Order has always been fair.
That's right.
You know, if you see a black crack dealer, you also going to see a black lawyer.
Okay.
And I tell them, I say, yo, black people only want fair. We don't want better. And I explain it to women. I say, it's just like women's rights. Y'all just want an equal wage. You just want fair. We're not saying we got to always be the doctor and the lawyer, but in other words, lady, if you play the prostitute, can you also play the school teacher and the nurse? Can can we mix it up? That's all, but because we can't say, oh, we never want to be the bad guy, because we know we the bad guy sometimes. You know,
does Ice-T has to play a gangster versus being a cop on Law and Order?
I've been playing a cop my whole career, and everybody knows I'm a fucking gangster.
All right.
So,
longest running cop on TV.
Longest running. Oh, you know what? I told Dick Wolf that last night. I said I'm the longest running
black cop.
No, Epatha. Epatha from Law and Order, the cop, she might beat me. So he said, well, Ice, you know, if you word it right, you can give yourself an award. If you word that shit right. So the longest running black male cop on television.
There you go.
See, that's what I said. I said that, but you said no.
I had to put male on it.
Okay.
But how ironic is that?
No, that's fly.
Who comes from hip hop?
Who comes and you know what, Marley, one of the reasons I never changed my name from Ice-T is me playing homage to hip hop, because I don't care how big I ever got. I wanted somebody to look at him and say, oh, he's a great actor, and they go, mama, he's a rapper. I don't like rappers. Well, guess what?
You like Ice-T.
Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's like Queen Latifah is still Queen Latifah.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, LL is still LL.
That's right.
So we don't have to do that. You could change.
You would never use your real name in a movie, like just to flip it out sometime?
Nah, not really. I just think, you know, I made Ice-T so ambiguous now that, you know, you don't really know what it is. You know, it is synonymous with being an actor. It is synonymous with it. So I don't think I need to change it. I And plus, that's still my gangster. I don't like motherfuckers know my real true name.
Put the government all in the street.
Nigga, why you put my government out there? But I want to give a shout out to the Paley Center. If you get a chance to go to the Paley Center, they have archives of television and television, just like y'all got records, Marley. Every television show, they got it.
Wow.
And like I was in Fame. I did an episode of Fame. They like, oh, we got it. We got it. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of television shows. They archive them. Wow. And if you go there, you could find that episode of something you remember. They got it. It's like a library.
Right. Leave It to Beaver. They got it up in there.
The one that you can't find and it ain't on YouTube. It's at the Paley Center. And it was just a great event. I'm just proud that we've come this far, but we still got a long way to go. You start with the actors, then you're starting to produce shows. You see 50 Cent got Power. You seeing shows. Our stories are starting to be told more.
Tyler Perry producing,
Yeah.
Oprah got her own network now.
It's
all
a few.
we ask for is be fair. That's all.
It's a few, and we're coming a long way. So God bless all my fellow actors out there that are doing television and trying to get into the business. We come from music, but it's all entertainment.
Yep.
It's all love.
Yeah.
And that was news. Yo, this is Final Level Podcast number 41 with motherfucking Ice-T.
And Mick Benzo.
And this is sports. And I ain't trying to hear you because you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, listen. I can admit to that, though, B.
So now you finna fucking try to rub the Mets in somebody's face?
No,
Marley's a Mets fan.
No. You have to understand this. If there was any other team in baseball in the World Series that's not from New York, I wouldn't be watching it. Due to the fact that the Mets is in, you goddamn right. I'm going to ride out with the Mets. You know why?
You ain't even got a Mets hat.
Because Kansas City, no, I don't. I ain't wearing nothing with it. Only thing orange they have is jumpsuits in jail. I don't do that, man. That's Marley flavor over there wearing that orange shit.
You can't like him and diss him at the same time.
Yes, I can. I just want to see him win because I need something big in New York. Like the Giants is doing good. I need somebody in New York City to do good. Marley, what do you think about your Mets, man?
To be honest, man,
are you a Mets fan?
I'm not really a Mets fan.
Okay,
but I respect them for where they at right now.
And that's what I'm trying to tell them.
I respect them for where they at, and I respect all my cats, just like my Knicks fans. I know you've been holding on for a minute. You've been holding on. You
don't get it.
You just holding on and holding on. I kind of feel for you guys a little, but I'm giving you love because your people's doing what they do, and you get a high five.
Exactly.
But I never wore Mets. I never wore anything
Mets.
I don't know. I'm from
can't
Queens
believe
too.
that.
I'm from Queens too. All my people all over
who's
Queens.
Your team? Let's put that out there.
You already know, man.
Yankees?
I'm a Yankees dude.
Hey, he's the Bronx farmer, baby. And don't stop. The Bronx created
move up
Listen,
into your
the Bronx
neighborhood.
built this shit, and we know our way around from hip hop to baseball.
He got mad because I think y'all took California.
Fool,
out.
look, no, look.
Yeah,
look,
I ain't got no.
I'm not even a big sports fan, but I know about the Mets. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, I know about Tom Seaver.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know some good names in there, too. Let me tell you why
Now,
they win.
see you.
No,
now you
let me
name a
tell
Dodger
y'all-
pitcher,
Let
you
me
bitch.
let me tell you.
Down Strawberry over there. Man.
Ah, there you go. He got me.
But he came from the Mets, though. But again, hold on. But what we did
you
give,
motherfucker.
the reason the Mets is in is because we gave y'all my man Curtis Granderson. You know, Curtis always gets ahead. He
right, there you
always
go.
gets on.
So,
base.
do you have anything eloquent to say about this World Series? Are the Mets going to win?
Definitely. And the Giants going to win the Super Bowl. We're doing our thing right now. I ain't worried about y'all are trying to win some games over there on the West Coast, but we're doing good over here. You know, it's just sports.
I ride out with the Mets because they doing their thing right now.
Yeah.
I definitely give them a thumbs up while they in a minute of glory. They get that.
I feel some real unreal loyalty up in here.
no,
I feel this
give them
kind of
love.
like since you're winning, I'm down loyalty.
No.
It's
New York flavor.
You know what
New
it
York
is?
flavor.
It's thumbs
Ah,
up.
nigga.
Thumbs up to the hot team. Y'all get the thumbs up right
Okay, all right. That's Marley Marl and Mickey Benzo, New Yorkers feeling about.
And that's real sports.
All right, yo, this is podcast number 41, and we have a special news blast. Today in the news, some girl got thrown out of her seat by a cop, and I seen it on the internet.
Thrown out a seat?
Yeah, apparently some chick.
Was she on a bus?
No, she's in her school.
Yeah.
Right, and the cop comes in. He's trying to arrest her. She might fight a little bit, and next thing you know, he done threw her. Like it,
No.
I shouldn't laugh, y'all.
No.
See, this is what it is, right? He took her and he swung her and she caught air.
Yeah, but if you do that in your own household
Yeah, you go to jail.
they will lock you up as a parent. Did he get locked up?
We don't know if he got locked up or nothing,
Come on,
you know.
can't, but you can't be putting your hand. Listen, as a law officer, your duty is not to put your hands on them in a forceful way.
But
What you have to
sometimes,
do-
though, when a cop tell you, get that ass up, a lot of it could be avoided if you just get your ass up.
Yeah.
And
I used
if
to
you
fight
get your
with
ass
the
up-
cops all the time.
All the time.
You know,
Me too. I know
so
too.
The cops have chased us and catch us
Yeah.
and throw us down and stuff. My thing is that
But
this was wrong.
Right.
No, this is wrong. He threw the girl, okay, but that's the first part of the story. Now there's a big campaign against this dude named Don Lemon. He's a news broadcaster.
African American, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
man
he's
on TV.
on CNN.
Yes, see.
And he kind of came out and said, I got to hear both sides of the story, and people are really mad at him. Now, I don't know this dude from a can of paint. And see, I can say stuff Don Lemon can't say. I'll say it, motherfucker, Ice is just telling jokes.
Right.
You know, he Ice knows how he feels about this stuff, because I really do. And truthfully, you shouldn't be putting your hands on no little girl like
100%.
that.
Exactly.
Truthfully. But when she flew through the air, I was like laughing. I didn't expect to see her go that far, right? But and she's not severely hurt, okay? So
Okay,
people
that's
get
cool.
mad at me, Ice-T, you
Fuck 'em.
you don't care and stuff. But
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. I mean, let's keep it real. So that cop's in hot water.
I think
Yeah,
he
he
in
should
hot
be,
water.
though.
He should be.
He
in hot
should be.
water.
And now people want to boycott this dude, Don Lemon. So my thing is this. I'm not standing up for Don Lemon because I don't know Don Lemon. But the
Right.
thing of it is, black people, we just got to be honest.
But why? But
But
didn't he
listen. We got to be honest,
But
right?
he said he needs to hear both sides. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I think we all always should hear both sides,
Okay.
because if everything is just right because it's black,
Wrong.
then
That's
we on
wrong.
that bullshit too.
Yeah.
You see?
right.
So, like I say, when the cops run up in the motherfucking house and the niggas is selling drugs and they tell the cops come get me and I got the guns on me and shit like that and there's a shootout, that's kind of like what it is. You dig what I'm saying? It's like we can't really rally behind that. You got to rally behind it when it's an innocent person and they just police abuse, just out of control. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, Don Lemon, but watch your back, because they on your ass. They on your bumper,
But
son.
I like what you said. But I like what you said. You have to hear both sides first.
Both sides
Fair is
start.
fair.
Yeah, what
Fuck
happened
that.
before? What happened before they started filming?
Yeah, the girl
But still
stood
in
on
all,
it.
We don't know.
Cameras are on.
Cameras is on
And-
everywhere. You can't walk 10 feet in Manhattan
Cameras
without a
are
camera being on you.
on.
in
Yeah, but
any
they
direction.
caught the cop that threw Homeboy down in front of the Four Seasons.
Yeah,
they
look at
Oh yeah,
threw him.
the tennis player.
Yeah.
Raps
Yeah.
But see, the thing of it is, you know what's more shocking though? White people are just seeing how they roll. When they roll up on you, it's violent.
Yeah.
It's violent. When we've been singing about it forever. I'm like, yo, they snatched me out the car, threw me to the ground. They like, oh, you guys are exaggerating.
Face
When
to
it
the floor.
happened, when it happened to one of them, they actually acknowledged, "Damn."
I was.
Well, no, when they starting to see it now.
No,
on
let me
camera.
tell you. One time I was in a car with somebody from Warner Brothers.
Right.
We was in my red BM, and we stopped at the red light. All of a sudden, cops just came from everywhere, snatched me out the car, threw me on the floor, threw the Warner Brothers rep on the floor. And in the middle of all of that, she kept saying, "You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't."
While they whooping ass.
While they whipping ass, we all on the floor. Yo, we got all type of we got all type of street in our mouth. But she kept yelling, "You can't do this." But I'm saying, like, this is what happens though.
This how it goes down.
Yeah,
this is
you
regular.
can't do it, but they're doing it right
Yeah,
now.
No doubt. No
and
doubt.
and without a video camera, people won't see it. So I'm just like saying right now, okay, we know we at a boiling point with these cops.
Yeah.
Okay. The best thing we got going right now is to continually filming it, continually showing it, let everybody see what we've been talking about.
I know what. I'm gonna get one of them drones that follow you. That's what you need. Get an overhead view. You get the whole, and you mic yourself up with a drone that follow you. You good money out there.
But really, real talk, the safest thing can happen is if you get pulled over, somebody on the corner just stop and pull their phone up and just
Right.
say, so let the officers know you being watched right now. Like, handle this thing by the book. You know, we just did a thing on Law and Order the other day where a kid got killed. We had the kid that got killed, and the video showed that he wasn't reaching, and it got real heavy, and the cops said, well, he was reaching for a gun, and all that kind of stuff happens out here. Here's Ice-T's message. Be careful around these police right now. They hot on the trigger, and the biggest mistake you can think is think you got some rights, or think that if you run, they can't shoot you in the back and all that. That little misjudgment and thinking the rules apply could get you dead. Now, the cop might go to jail, but you're dead. You're dead. So you got to think these motherfuckers is on one, and you can get hurt fucking with the police.
And I'm gonna tell you, to be honest, there's no police ever gonna get arrested for doing his job. Not unless he just look in the camera and say, "I'm gonna kill that nigga," or "that motherfucker did this." That's the only way. But if he's on the job and he's trying to bring you in, he's trying to apprehend you, and something happens while he's containing you, most of the time nothing's gonna happen to him because he's working.
But still,
he's trying to contain you.
Like
if you get contained, then he's doing his job. Then your ass went to jail and he did his job. But if he can't contain you, he has to do whatever he can to contain you, to bring you to where he thinks you need to be. So if you do anything opposite of him bringing you to where he thinks you need to be,
I'm gonna tell you like this, right? I play the cop, and I'm not a fan of the cops. Right. But say me and motherfucking Mickey was in the car, and we get pulled over, and Mickey say, "I'm gonna run." I'm gonna look at Mickey and say, "Good luck, nigga." Good luck, nigga. I'm getting out. I got my hands out. I'm not trying to. Good luck. And the only reason you should be trying to run, it shouldn't be for no warrants, man. Stay in the car for the warrants.
Every cop ain't a bad cop. I got a bunch of cousins and nephews that are in the force, and they don't do bad things. But I have a problem with the police with they no snitch.
Yeah.
They have a code called no snitch.
The
but
blue line.
They tell you in the street, if you saw somebody do it, man, forget about the no snitch policy. Okay, well, officers stand down and do the same thing. When you see that officer do something foul, snitch on them.
Yeah,
because
that's real
one
talk.
bad apple actually fucks up all of it.
True
Every
talk.
Cop's not a bad cop.
Yeah.
But they got to be. They got to stand up when they see injustice on their side.
Exactly.
That's real talk.
That's
real talk.
That's
just like the people. The people got to do it too. It got to be 50-50, because if the people see somebody in the neighborhood that keep making the neighborhood unstable, what you gonna do?
They got to talk about it. They got to take them out the neighborhood, because as soon as one of your kids get killed, tell me, well, they shouldn't have did, Bobby. I don't know why. Because you let Larry stay on the block. Put Larry off the block.
Get Larry off the block. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
So here in this special cop segment, I guess what we're saying is, if you really running from the cops, hopefully you got a good reason to run from the motherfuckers, because they're going to probably shoot you. All right? Think about it before you take off.
Run your ass off if you got
to. And then another thing, don't turn a robbery into a murder. You idiots.
Yeah.
Y'all plain idiots. It happened a couple of weeks ago. The guy's on a bicycle shoots a cop in the face. I'm saying, bruh, all you was going to do is get arrested and go to jail. Now guess what? You're going to spend the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah, and to the little girl that got thrown, I'm not trying to disrespect you. Somebody like, well, what if that was your daughter? I would laugh. I would say, your little ass got thrown, but I'd be mad too. You know how niggas will laugh when you fall down the steps, but they'll hold up, make sure you okay, and then they go, oh shit.
Are you all right? Then they bust out
laughing. So yeah, don't get me twisted. I'm not on the cop side.
We didn't think that was fair.
Don't boycott me.
Definitely wasn't fair. Parents out there, treat your kids to obey them police when they coming at you, because that could be the difference between them coming home or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On obey.
That's what I tell my son.
I tell my sons, if they tell you to get on the floor, drop straight to the floor. You ain't got nothing to say. Get on that floor, and we'll take care of it later, because your little extra words, your little extra shove could get you killed out here. Because it ain't no joke. It is not a joke right now.
That's real talk from Marley Marl.
It's real.
Yeah, okay. Don't fight police unless you really got a reason.
You know what I'm saying?
You fighting for your life either way.
You know what I'm saying?
Peace. Hey, yo, this Fine Level Podcast number 41 with the one and only Ice-T and
Mick Benzo, man. And our special guest, man.
Marley.
DJ Marley Marl. DJ Juice Crew in the building.
Marley, you watch TV?
Yeah, all day.
Well, this is TV. What TV shows you like?
You know, I watch. You know, I get my Empire on.
Okay.
I get my Power on. You know,
Okay.
the regulars. You know, and I gotta watch my news every day. So you know.
I'm
See what
watching
happened
How
in
to
the
Get
hood.
Away with Murder. I found me a joint I like.
Oh, that's a good one.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Ooh, I like that one too.
Damn.
Okay.
And a little scandal.
Oh, you finally he
Oh,
wouldn't watch
shit.
TV for a while.
Yeah,
Now
'cause
he's
I finally got my cable back on.
you lie. He was always I don't watch this. I don't watch that. But I knew your cable was cut off.
I couldn't tell him when it was cut off. It's on now. I can talk.
You tired of that ABC, CBS, and NBC?
You watching Scandal? Scandal's
Yeah, I
kind of
like
dope.
that. Scandal's dope. Man.
Scandal's rocking. Scandal rocks.
And yeah, that's a beautiful show.
That's what's up. That's
So
what's up.
so what you saying? What you say, Marley? What's your favorite stuff you do?
You know, I do a little bit of Empire. You know, I check out Empire all the time.
Now
I kinda
Empire,
like it.
I couldn't watch much. I watched the first season, but it kind of gets gossipy to me, don't you? It's kind of like a soap opera.
It's kind of like a hip hop dynasty to me. You know, I used to be a big fan of Dynasty back in the day.
Right,
To see
right,
the-
right.
to
We
see
said
the
that.
people living life, you know, living lovely, had something to dream for. So this is what's happening. Kids are watching this show and they got something to dream for. They think they could be a rapper and have a big house like that and have their family fight over the riches, you know, and have a like a baby mama like Cookie.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
we
saying?
called it Ratchet Dynasty when it first came.
There you go. That's what it is.
Because you kind of mix it with love and hip hop, a little bit of the wildness that goes on.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
cool. But I like Power. I like it because it's more gangsters,
There you
more
go.
male.
There you go. It's more male stuff. It's more. I like how 50 made that happen. Like, you know, made it on the rough tip. You know
Respect
what I mean?
to 50 Cent for
Another
just stepping
black
his game
producer.
up.
We respect that, baby.
Okay.
See, it ain't always about no gangster shit to
That's
continue.
all the time.
You get in the game so you can do something else. Like Ice, he done parallel to this, to that, to books, to TV, to movie, to film. Because if you stay in one little section of that thing called music,
Yeah.
you'll be left right there too, right in the music.
100%.
And most of the
100%.
people that people look up to in music have diversified. You might not know it. Like I'm willing. I'm pretty sure that most of Jay-Z's money does not come from music.
100%.
Comes from other entities. And
Diddy too.
Diddy
I
too.
doubt Diddy's 100% of the money comes from that. You know.
Nah. You start it, you
Yeah.
use it, and then you parlay into other things and stuff. I've been watching the new Walking Dead.
Oh, I've been hearing about it. I heard about it. I haven't seen it though. Everybody's literally talking how dope that is. Walking Dead.
I seen the first two, and I was like, okay. The first one showed all these zombies in a quarry, and they were trying to walk them someplace. The second one showed these wild people with W's on their head just attack the complex. And the third one is supposed to be the Butters one, and that's in my DVR. I left town. I haven't
Ready
seen
to
it
see
yet.
that one.
But, you know, Walking Dead is dope. I mean, people didn't think a show about zombies could last, but it's a really good show, and it's on AMC. Another thing we talked earlier about television, cable television is revolutionizing TV. You know, now Narcos is on.
Netflix.
That's internet
Yeah,
television.
it's crazy.
Netflix.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of places you got Hulu.
Hulu,
you got
Hulu, yeah.
It's other things than just your regular television now. that you can watch.
Dude, Netflix is downloading.
It's only
at-
$8.99.
at four, like super high resolution, better than like a
Network,
Blu-ray,
right? Yeah.
better
And
than
it's only-
Blu-ray.
And it's
Wow.
only $8.99 a month. You don't need cable.
That's crazy. And they have an option for no commercials. How you like that?
Yeah,
They
You
got
can
the
binge
new
watch
option.
on that one though.
binge watching is the reason. And see, people don't understand television. Like you do radio,
Right.
You know radio. Radio is only on to sell the commercials.
100%.
It's an open channel that we could put anything we want on there that'll draw people to see the commercials. But see, with radio, you can't fast forward through a commercial. With television, with the DVRs, now you can hit bam.
Bam.
Oh,
So it's hurting commercials. Now you're seeing more people do advertisements within the show. You'll see a guy have an Apple computer or drinking a name brand drink because the advertisers find out people aren't even watching our commercials.
It's in product placement right now in the movies and in the films. You're right.
It's going crazy, but I'm watching that, and then there's a new one coming on after Walking Dead called Into the Badlands, which is like some kung fu samurai stuff.
Oh, I would like to see that.
Well, you know all hood niggas like that.
I would like to see that one, baby.
Saturday morning cartoons and kung fu right there.
Yes.
It works for you.
Into the Badlands. So that's something I think you guys should prepare to watch. If you haven't, go to Google and check out, because you know what happens, Marley. The people that listen to this podcast, they kind of follow us. They kind of roll, kind of like with our flavor. They like, okay, I'd rather hear Ice's review on a movie or your review or Mick's review than some guy just talking shit out his ass. Fuck
right. They ain't gonna look at that TV show. They gonna check our shit out. They have like
yep.
Like
also, good news for my Law and Order fans. I do have a lot of people that are big Law and Order fans. Even with Empire coming on at the exact same time as Law and Order right now is, I think, number 2 on NBC for scripted drama. SVU. To be a show that's been on 17 years, and we're number 2, and we're coming in. Guess who's number 1? Chicago Fire.
I like Chicago Fire. That's my
Chicago.
shit.
So Dick Wolf is back in the game
again.
1 and 2.
1 and 2
again.
And I think one of the new shows is on. It's doing good, but we might be 3. I don't know, because I think Blind Spot is doing good too. For all the fans out there that are Ice-T fans, have been following Law and Order SVU for the 17th season. The way y'all following us, it's going to be an 18th season.
Continue.
And the record is 20.
Wow.
The record is 20, Marley. We right now we're the longest running network television show on the air, and to have these kind of ratings at this point, down the road, it's unheard of and stuff. And Empire was killing us. I'm not going to lie. But we're not even competing with them. They just said, hey, you know what?
Doing
Empire
something different anyway.
Is a whole nother monster. It's kind of like how Glee came out. And Glee had all the big stars on it and stuff.
What's crazy about all of it? Because all of this is network TV. This is not cable.
Right.
And all of these shows that you're mentioning are network, and they're beating cable.
Cable made network step its game up. When Breaking Bad and all those shows came and they just pushed the edges a little bit further, network started to step its game up, saying we got to come a little bit harder.
And it's clearer, too, now. It's digital TV, so it's looking as good as your satellite TV now. So they definitely, programming came as soon as it went digital and it started looking good. Yeah. Now we could watch it. It was intolerable before.
I got a weird warp based on television. I think that television and video games are one of the main reasons for unemployment.
Well, a lot of unemployed watching that Channel 9 and Channel 11.
Because you could go to the worst crib in the hood. They got a big TV and an Xbox.
Oh yeah.
And if you got, all you need is a good TV, some cable, Xbox, and or a PlayStation, and something to drink or something to smoke,
and you're
like,
up.
fuck it.
Yeah, you're
That's
stuck.
all there is in the world.
Hey, that's all I need in my life right now. That's all I need.
You go. And it's funny, when we do Law and Order, we'll go into some projects. We'll go deep in, and they might not have no furniture. They ain't got nothing, but the TV is huge.
Nice TV in the living room.
Big TV. Crystal clear, and now with the high definition, you feel like you kind of like float into that television.
Yeah.
You in the middle of the woods watching the migration of the wildebeest. Or
PC
some
witches,
shit.
they all. That's where they at.
And you forget that you in the ghetto because the
saying.
TV's so clear. Back in the day, what I'm saying is, back in the day, you had a fucked up house and a fucked up TV too, right? But now, like he said, now the reception is so good, you don't even realize you in a fucked up house. And you just sit there.
Chilling.
Is that a good thing?
Well, they be shopping at PC Riches. LG's only costing about $900 for 35 inches and 50-inch TVs.
Oh, they got 150. You could get a 32-inch right
See
now.
that? See that? That's why they good
for
now.
For $2,000, you can get 80 inches, nigga, flat screen,
they put
and never work again.
You get a wall in your house for $99
and never work again. That's called TV unemployment, and that was TV. Hey, so now this is Final Level Podcast number 41. We've been having a good time talking, but it's time to go in with what I consider the first hip-hop super producer, DJ Marley Marl, or Marley Skills on Twitter. Marley Marl, man, you are a true legend. People, I was watching the show the other day. They say, well, you guy called a guy a legend. They say, well, you can't call legends are dead, right? So we always say living. I'm gonna start saying living legends.
There you go.
You know, but I mean, let's take our listeners. We like to give the people that watch, or excuse me, I say watch or listen to this podcast, the truth and the essence from the horse's mouth, because it inspires a lot of the kids that are listening. You know, when Shantae say she was going to the damn washer downstairs, laundromat, and heard you playing records out of the window.
Oh, yeah.
Marley, were you doing hip hop or was you dance music before?
Where did it start? Where did it start?
It all started for me because I was a DJ. I used to play in Pegasus in New York City. It was like a club. It was a disco club. Mm-hmm. I used to be the DJ, you know, just filling in for the dude. I was like 16 years old. So my first DJ jobs that I had, I was playing in the clubs in Manhattan. You get what I'm saying? Then Bob Lee.
Dr. Bob
Lee introduced me to Mr. Magic, and Mr. Magic heard me doing one of my blends, and he's like, yo, I need that on my, because Junebug was working with Magic for like a week. Mm-hmm. Junebug, just before, you know, he got big up in the Bronx doing what he was doing back in the day.
Stop. How could you play in the clubs at 16?
You know, I had an ill skill level, so just hanging around the clubs and just trying to be on and just.
Now, were you playing hip hop yet?
No, hip hop wasn't
out.
It was just break beats and disco.
Okay,
they weren't carding people in them days anyway.
Yeah, that's where everything. Everybody, he was even smoking cigarettes in the clubs.
Exactly,
it was all crazy. But I was like one of the real young DJ on the club scene, and that's how I got with Mr. Magic and Bob Lee. Bob Lee was a DJ in my neighborhood, and he was working at BLS, and he already knew that I was like the ill DJ from Queensbridge. Mm-hmm. Oh, Marley's nice. He's nice with it. So I used to be out in the park, and you know what it was? It was like break beats. It was like this super disco breaks. Mm-hmm. How you like that? It's the funny shit because super disco breaks are the first break beat albums that used to come out. The funny thing, they was called super disco breaks because you would know that we didn't really have break beats. We was actually break beats were our disco breaks. The breaks on the disco records. Gotta get out of here. You know, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that's where it all came from for me. And then when I started working with Mr. Magic, I was more introduced to the rap. You get what I'm saying? Because when I was in high school, I heard like a breakout tape, and that introduced me to rap. I was like, oh shit, I'm extending breaks and we're playing disco breaks and extending breaks. We had dances, and before I ever seen any MC, like my brother's crew, they was 10 years older than me. They was cutting up the disco breaks and extending the disco breaks, and they was dancers. This is before I even heard of a rapper. They was like, they had like marshmallow shoes on, sparkles on them, going up to clubs.
Them shits was fly in them days, man.
I know.
Fuck that,
Mickey had some on yesterday.
Hey, check it
out. Fuck that, them shits was fly.
Hey, check it out. And they was talking about clubs like Maboya and stuff like that. See, I don't know about all that. It was my brothers and all them. And what was great about me, see, my brother and them was DJs before me, so all of their super disco breaks that they used to use and play, when they stopped DJing, I became the DJ, so I had access to all of their shit.
Right.
So that became all the records that I would sample once I became the producer for Cold Chillin'.
So basically, if I'm following you correct, 16 years old, you're in there, you're playing your disco breaks and all that kind of stuff, and then you connected to Mr. Magic, and he took you to the radio.
Put me on the radio, and then I put my skills on the radio and started, DJing for him. Now, it was so limited because you got to think it's so early time of rap when rap just really started. So there wasn't a lot of records. Mm-hmm. The only records really out was Enjoy and Sugar Hill. Mm-hmm. And what else?
Paul Winley and
Mike and Dave.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was like, it was those type of records. So, I always was into the breaks and stuff that made me love rap when I first heard it.
So what was the first rapper you became in contact with?
Well, the first rapper I ever heard was from a breakout tape, and that was the first time I ever heard rap. But me and Queensbridge, after I heard the breakout tape, I went and formed a crew called the Short Shot Crew.
Not the Short Shot.
Yeah, we was the Short Shot Crew in Queensbridge. And, you know, Dimples D was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Barshawn that's down with
he down was Furious.
With Furious. Mm-hmm. He was part of it too. We had a TJ Swan out there, another TJ Swan before the singing TJ Swan.
The original.
Yeah, we had the original from QB, and it was like a few of us. But I had my crew, but we just couldn't make records.
Right.
we was hot in the park.
Right.
Figure it out.
But we could not make a jam. Dimples D was nice though. She's the only one from the crew that made a record back then. But, the rest of everybody else, we just couldn't get it together. We just couldn't make a jam.
What do you mean you couldn't get in the studio? You just couldn't make the right rhymes?
We couldn't make a record that was a record. We could go rock a party in the park.
Oh, right. Didn't know how to make a song.
We couldn't make a song. We went in the studio like 3 or 4 times. I was just becoming a big producer. I'm like, I'm going to put my crew on that rode out with me. And they couldn't make a goddamn record. It was funny. But Dimples D made a record.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was your record you produced.
Yes.
So was that Dimples D? I heard that in L.A. because while you guys were doing your thing, we were right behind you by getting tapes from BLS and Red Alert and all the kind of stuff that was
us. That was us. Me and Mr. Magic, Red Alert tapes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we got the tapes.
Yeah.
But I remember there was this club I used to hang out. Not the radio, but it was called the Rhythm Lounge in L.A. And the cats, they got the records. I don't know if they went to New York and had them and they threw it on, and I never forget the Dimples D record.
Oh, no doubt.
That's when I first heard his name.
That was my first record right there. And it wasn't even supposed to be a record. The funny thing, most of my first records like that were never meant to be records. It was just meant to be something special for me and Mr. Magic to have that nobody would have.
Right.
But it became records because of the popularity of nobody being able to get it. They would want it so bad it would become a record.
Dope.
So how did you put them out as a record? You started a label or?
Well, at first I was just play the reels on the air, cassettes or reels. Dimples D was a cassette that I had.
That's called Marley's Jam, right?
Sucker DJs. It was like an answer to Sucker MCs.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
So Run DMC record.
Right. So Arthur Baker heard it. Told me it was a record. I'm like, dude, I just made that in my living room. It's not a record, dude. I'm arguing with him. He's telling me it's a record.
Arthur Baker's a hell of a producer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He gave me my first shot.
Woo.
With that record right there, he heard it, and he went with that. I was trying to shop some electronica beats to him,
like Mantronics.
yeah. I was on that shit hard.
Like Trans Europe Express.
Yeah.
That's what's popping.
Yeah, no doubt.
I just said Mantronics. That used to be one of my favorite groups too. Mantronics had some beats.
Mantronics is the first one that had the triple hi-hats in any records back in the day. He originated that. That's crazy, and that's a fact. But off the Baker.
No, your Trans Europe Express was Kraftwerk.
Kraftwerk, TEE.
Europe Express.
But it's all electronic music, and that's the type of music that I was making first. Was like that type of music. That's why I was able to bring sampling into hip hop because in electronic music, like you got to think Arthur Baker and all those guys was sampling, but they wasn't making hip hop. All that AEIOU stuff was all samples, and I was an engineer. I was like an engineer intern at Unique back in the day, in the recording studio at the studio where they made all that shit.
Woo.
Every fucking record you could think of back then that they made, I was sitting there watching Arthur Baker to make these shit.
Okay, so Marley.
Yes.
You don't call Dimples D your first record. So what was the first record you made you felt you were proud of, you called it was a record?
My first record that I could be proud of.
Well, you said this is a record. Okay, the other one ain't a record.
All right, and then when I did Dimples D, that wasn't supposed to be a record. Even when I did The Bridge, that wasn't supposed to be a record.
The Bridge what? What?
The Bridge with Shan. That was...
Get the
fuck out of here.
That wasn't supposed to be a record.
Let me tell you.
The Bridge.
Let me explain what that was, though.
Please.
That was background music for Band Day in Queensbridge. That wasn't even... that was like intermission music for in between the bands. Because
that was intermission.
Yeah.
So how did Sham get on it?
He did the intermission song, talking about Queensbridge.
Wow.
This is a little.
You
story.
love to hear the story again and again.
This is a little story about where we come from. That's what he said, because that was intermission music. So while they played that music, the bands were changing on stage. and that was the intermission music. But it leaked out.
Wow.
And it leaked out.
One of the most legendary records
We
ever.
thought y'all was coming after the Bronx on that.
Nah,
right?
we wasn't. See, y'all should have comprehended that. We said we gonna tell you a little story about where we come from.
By where we come
But y'all
from.
was talking about Queensbridge.
See,
To the bridge.
But we said, listen, we're gonna tell you a little story about where we come from.
So that was supposed to be an intermission record?
That's what it was.
crazy.
That was an intermission record that leaked.
And that was another one you produced that wasn't a record.
That one was not supposed to be a record. That was for that.
So we want to know what the first song you said, I'm putting this out to the world as a Marley Marl record.
Maybe Marley Scratch.
Okay.
It could be Marley Scratch. That's when I realized I was a producer.
Wow.
That's when I boom ba boom ba boom ba boom boom boom. Those hard fucking sample drums.
That
right
almost
there.
sound like a KRS-One track.
You know, no, because you gotta be funny because KRS-One stole my reel to make this song. That's why it sounded like. But it's all good.
Boom, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, boom. Yeah.
So when you were putting together the Juice Crew, KRS-One from the Bronx, you
Yes.
knew KRS-One?
Nah, what happened? Basically, KRS-One came up to me and Mr. Magic at Power Play one day, and he was so excited to meet Mr. Magic because you gotta look. Mr. Magic was the pinnacle of rap at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was looking at him like he was
Rest
like
in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Mr. Magic. But he was becoming a superstar because of rap music.
Mm-hmm.
He was putting on rap, so everybody wanted to be down with him. One day, Scott LaRock and KRS-One ran up to him, praising him. Yo, we love you, Mr. Magic. Da-da-da. Yo, we want to get in your Juice Crew. We want you to hear our stuff. We want you to hear our music. Could you please come in the room?
KRS-One from the Bronx. I'm talking about that guy from the Bronx.
Yeah. No. KRS-One from Brooklyn that moved to the Bronx.
But he's from the Bronx, though. He's from the Bronx, man. You know.
See, we getting the truth here.
Yeah, all right.
Break it down.
He
from
repped for
Brooklyn.
the Bronx, but I think he's in the shelter. He was in Brooklyn, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
True.
So I believe so. But he did rep for the Bronx. But he tried to be in the Juice Crew, and Mr. Magic kind of dissed him. Mr. Magic was like, "Yo, your music sucks. You whack." And like, and let me tell you how. Let me just think about this. You're in the room. You're playing your music loud for auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
They're up there, mouthing off the songs and moving and jumping around to the words. And Magic goes over and turns it down real quick and say, "Yo, this is bullshit. It's whack." And walks out.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Magic was a beast.
He was a beast.
But he played good music.
Yeah, of course.
WHBI.
Oh, yeah.
WHBI.
Mr. Magic was a very no holds barred person.
Nah, that's what it was.
If it wasn't, if he didn't like something, he wouldn't front.
Right.
Yo, your shit is whack. I'm out of here, and he just walked out on him. And I'm like, let me get out of here. And by then, me getting out of the studio that night, I kind of left my reel trying to get out of there because it kind of looked like it wasn't a good situation because they was kind of mad at Magic. We hanging around, they looking at him go crazy because he dissed him.
Right.
So I was like, let me just get up out of the studio. I recorded Shantae, so I left. I forgot my reel. And that's the reel that Said G found. And we'll put up and make the bridges over with my drum sounds. So did I co-produce the bridges over Marley Marl? DJ Marley Marl?
In a way, right? So you got the bridge,
your
and
hands on it.
I produced both of them. Wow. Yep.
That's
and
big.
Said G from Ultramagnetics
That's
got
crazy.
it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, he was a producer, Said G.
You're crazy.
Wow. So now from the West Coast, I'm just hearing this name Marley Marl on Big Daddy Kane. I'm hearing Marley Marl on Biz Markie. I'm hearing Marley Marl on Cool G Rap. Roxanne
LL Cool J. You was
Shantae.
doing a lot
LL
of
Cool J.
work.
But then one slipped past me, right? One of the Eric B. and Rakim.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Well, now that
Wow.
was
That was crazy because Eric was my roommate, basically my roommate in Queensbridge, staying with me, and seeing a lot of artists come through all the time. And like, yo, Marl, can I get somebody in here? Yo, guy, you got a shot. So his first person didn't show up, which was Freddie Fox. I heard.
Bumpy Knuckles.
Yeah, Bumpy Knuckles was supposed to come and do a demo with Eric and didn't show the first day. But the next day, Rakim showed up. And I think we made my melody first.
So what did you think about Rakim? You were being a producer, you did not know who this kid was.
I never heard of him in my life. Never experienced nobody even rapping that slow at that time. I thought I didn't really like my melody when we first made it, so I suggested we could make another joint, and that's when we made Eric B. as president. But my melody grew on me later because, when you listen to it, and then you get into it and you really hear what he's saying. he was really dope. He was
So
way ahead of his time.
You almost did a Mr. Magic and missed out.
Not on that. I mean, I said let's make something. I think we can make something better.
Okay.
And Eric B is president. I mean, you tell me.
That's funky president James Brown.
Right, either or, right?
So, no, that now. I'm keeping my timeline going, right? Now, by then, I was in New York, and I was getting ready to make my first album, Ryan Pays, Islam and Us was out here. And I was in Harlem, and you guys had dropped that record. And that was the first time since Sugar Hill Gang I heard a hit record. I mean, at this time, maybe Run DMC had records or something, but I'm talking about every single car in Harlem.
It's working hollow.
And it was just like every guy came and you turned around and it was starting a little bit later over here. I came, it's like a mix was going. Where it before that, and it just kept playing and it played all day. And we would go to the State Building, and people was like, and
for those that don't know, that's 125th Street, man.
Dead center Harlem.
Harlem.
Yeah. I'm from LA. I'm out here trying to put my first record together, and out crops Eric B and Rockin. And the shit was so new, people thought the rapper was Eric B. People couldn't pick up him saying the RKIM is not on the list. They wasn't picking him up. He was spelling his name, and my name's Rock, the RKIM, and not the rest. And so we're like, I'm like, no, now I'm a rapper. I'm like, no, the rapper's saying his name. Rakim is the rapper. Right. They like, oh, yo, you listen to that new Eric B shit. I'm like, no. Right? And then Islam was like, nah, you right. Eric B is the DJ. Right. Rakim. I said, who's Rakim? What crew is it? They're like, no, I never heard of him. It was so unique and so different.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now, when you made Eric B as president, you knew that was the heat.
Of course. I mean, you gotta look at the combination. I had the drum beat already from an old record, from a tragedy record that we couldn't put out called "Stunner the Block." Eric B suggested "Over Like a Fat Rat." And, we think about looping it up, but the tempos didn't match. So we decided to replay it. After we replayed that bass line over that beat, I was like, "Oh, that's a banger right there." Wow. That is a banger. And I made that on a 4-track in my living room.
So you didn't only work with the Juice Crew, you worked outside of that.
I came in the door.
Yeah.
I
You
said
did LL
it before.
Yeah, I did LL.
Never
We
let
did
the
Heavy
mic
D.
magnetize
Heavy
me
D.
no more.
Heavy D and the
I can't
Boys.
stop thinking about that record.
Heavy D, rest in peace.
Yeah, Heavy D, rest in peace. They even brought Steady B around back in the day. He used
from
to come
Philly.
back from Philly. And his uncle Lawrence used to bring him up to Queensbridge all the time.
No disrespect to Dre. You was our Dr. Dre as a producer. In New
For
York.
real,
Oh, no doubt. Oh, no doubt.
Because he was working with more artists. Dre started with NWA. You got JJ Fad. You know what I'm saying? DOC Easy. But I'm saying is Marley had a gang of people he was working with at the time, and they was spitting them out every other week. It was like a different group. Biz Marquee.
I remember Ice did We All in the Same Gang. You did a joint called The Juice Crew.
You talking about the symphony?
The symphony with the Juice Crew. That shit was unbelievable. I missed one person on there, though. MC Shan wasn't on that record.
Yeah, that's a long story. I could just tell you this one thing.
Just piece it.
I'll piece it together. The day that we all was on the back of my album cover in front of the Learjet, that's when we made the symphony record, that very day. Right after that photo shoot, Kane was like, yo, let's go make a record. And everybody there was like, okay, we're going to go meet. We was going to meet at my house. So everybody on that album cover was supposed to meet at my house. And obviously, everybody didn't show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody didn't show up. It was a lot of new jacks on that record, so a lot of people didn't show up.
Yeah. Hot record, though.
And that's when Marley had that voice. He was talking like a grandfather.
I don't know who's first or who last.
Oh, yeah, I got that from Ohio Players.
Yeah.
The Funky Worm.
Yeah.
I used to always love that joint back in the day. So it was my time to talk on the record. I was like, I'm going to be the Funky Worm. That's real talk.
That was crazy. So I actually ended up finally now, after all this knowing of Marley, I ended up crossing paths with the Juice Crew. I ended up being signed to Warner Brothers when Cold Chillin' came over to Warner Brothers. So I ended up meeting Big Daddy Kane. Me and him became super friends.
Then he moved out to L.A. too, right? He was
Yeah.
out. He was out for a minute.
Well, you know, how you make friends with somebody, but you don't know how deep it is. Well, Kane did an album called "Long Live the Kane" with him, the one where he was sitting with the Roman stuff. And you remember how we used to read the special thanks? Kane gave me first special thanks, and so I was like, well. Wow, it was real, because me and him kind of bonded, and on some player shit.
No doubt.
But that was cool. And then we went on the Dope Jam tour, and I shared the bus with Biz Markie, Koofy, T.J. Swan, Ralph, Big Ralph.
Wow.
What's the guy y'all used to call the human pit bull, the white kid? They had Sean, I think his name was. He was one of Bismarck's bodyguards or something.
Sean.
Yeah, crazy kid. And I'm talking about, do you know what it's like to tour with Biz Markie?
Yeah.
And I got totally indoctrinated into the Juice Crew. Like, them became, I remember TJ Swan wouldn't put his clothes under the bus, and he was wearing his silk stuff and just all the jewelry, and it was just, so like, that's like my second family, all those guys, Biz Markie and stuff like that. But you weren't there. So I didn't get a chance to get the Marley love, but I was getting it from all the family.
You know where I was at?
What was the Cool G Rap and Polo like?
Cool G Rap and Polo was. See, Polo used to go to school with me.
Polo's dope.
I think that dude is
Yeah.
dangerous on the microphone.
Hey, I got some news for you. Trip off this. Pause. Remember that record I did with K Slay?
Right.
I did a record with K Slay. K Slay said, "Hey, Ice, I got a record I want you to do." So I've been trained to, when you give me a beat, I rap the whole record. I don't do 16 bars. I write the whole record just for training.
What you want.
So I go in there and I spit the whole thing. He said, "I'm going to put some other people on it." Then when I finished it, he was like, "Damn, I don't know. This might be a solo record." So I bumped into him at Pathmark. This is how old we are now. We bump into each other at Pathmark. DJ K Slay, the drama king in Pathmark.
You gotta eat too. You gotta eat too. Shit.
That doesn't sound gangster though, right?
Gotta eat too.
We passing baskets, right? I said, "What happened in that song?" He says, "Oh, yo, Ice is dope. I put somebody on it." And I said, "Word? Who?" He said, "Cool G Rap."
Damn.
I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "Thank you." So I'm actually going to get a record. I've never even actually met Cool G Rap in person, but I get to be on a record with him. That's an honor.
A smooth motherfucker.
It's a demo.
Oh yeah.
Now, that was a smooth rapper, boy.
Oh yeah.
I was saying, how was it working with? It was dope.
Yeah, it was
easy?
crazy.
It was easy.
He was dope because he was always focused. But I got to ask you both a question now. What if Karis one would have mentioned Cool G Rap and The Bridge Is Over? You think it would have been the same ending?
Hey, look, I stand up for the Bronx.
Okay,
sick 'em, Chris.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
What you think, Ice? What you think?
Shit, cool. Well, Shan rhymes slow.
Yeah.
Cool G Rap is all over the goddamn track. I don't know. I know. Put it like this: as a rapper, I know who I didn't want to battle. I knew who I would try to step clear of and stuff like that, and I knew who I could take out. So when you hear certain motherfuckers spit, you go, "Okay, I'm gonna be friends with him. Why don't we go over there and make friends with him?"
And that's real. That's real. That's how hip hop's supposed to be.
But then I learned
real hip hop.
But then I learned something else though. After I got over my shock of being a West Coast rapper, is that you can rhyme as good as somebody with a different style. So I got a rhyme where I say, "I hear your styles, although you rhyme quicker. No matter what you do, I always lace mine thicker. Jealousy will make a fool die quicker than liquor. Watch your back with your niggas, cause it's right with a stick you." So I came with the idea, if I can rhyme heavy, I don't have to rhyme as fast, as long as I can make you feel my shit. So rhyme thicker, like with better words and heavier content.
Gotcha.
I don't have to go in with them lyrical beasts like Busta Rhymes that'll fucking, my tongue will fall out my mouth trying to keep up with them niggas. Like, for real.
You only had one female in your whole crew that you ever worked with?
Dimples
Dimples was first, yeah, but then Roxanne Shante, and that was about it. Roxanne Shante was the queen of the Juice Crew at that point.
She was like a battle rapper with the guys up
there.
Yeah,
she was. Yeah, she would be the one that you don't want to say something to her while she was on stage performing and you was in the crowd.
And she come off the head.
She'd come straight off the head and make the whole crowd dish you or laugh at you or something. So she was kind of dope. that's how she got into the.
And
to
see,
the group.
that's the thing. As far as style wise, Shantae wasn't one of those verbal gymnasts, but that's the key to hip hop. Once I learned that key, I learned you can still be the best on the mic. Don't get caught up in somebody's flow.
Right.
Just know how to get that crowd. That's what hip hop is all about.
Definitely, that crowd reaction, that first reaction, and if you say something and you get the roar back.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that feels good as an MC. If you're on stage and you rhyming, you hit your punchline and the crowd, that gotta feel so good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a DJ. If you just do a hot cut or something, you throwing the right record on, everybody's.
That's why lots of battle rappers want to battle with no beat, so you can hear the words. You can catch the punch rhyme, and then that also allows them. It also allows you to go into off beats and get to a point, because if you're stuck inside a beat, so if I'm battling you, I can go way around and come back and hit you and stop and pause.
But it's also slower too.
Yeah, slower.
It's slower, so you have more time to think of what to say.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been doing radio since?
Yeah.
How long? How long you been on radio?
I've been on radio since my first record, and that's probably with Mr. Magic and probably 84.
Damn. Commercial radio right now? Today?
Yeah.
Right now, today. You still, what commercial radio?
I'm on WBLS right now. You know, we come on every day, me and Shayla. And the funny thing about it, since our, the format is what it is, our age bracket right now, you got to think about it. We are the golden era age bracket. Right now. We're spending the money. Our age got the money right now. You know, it's funny because us being entertainers, you know, we had the money early in life in, 20s and 30s and 40s, but the people in their 40s and 50s kind of caught up to us in a way because they got the houses, their kids are in college, you know, their kids are done with college or in college. They're buying the houses now. They're buying the new houses.
But that's us, though. It's our it's like people say, well, Ice, you on Law and Order. I'm like, well, my fans grew up
with you,
and now they got kids and they watching my show,
and they grew up with you.
Yeah,
that's weird because you grew up right with them.
Yes,
you know, I go into corporations, and like the president of the corporation is a fan. Starts telling me Bismarck lyrics when I was in college, just a friend. So then we get deals done because.
Real talk.
They are that age right now, and they're
I spent my whole summer vacation with you when I was in college, and I went to this and that, and I'm like, yeah. I always tell people, I say I think Barack Obama is the first hip hop president,
100%,
because
definitely.
The kids that we open their minds,
our age bracket, definitely
to black people and breaking the racial boundaries down. Those kids grew up to be able to vote.
Yeah, and you gotta look at it too. Look at when Obama was in college in New York during the Mr. Magic era, during the rap era.
He was listening to hip-hop.
He was a hip-hop fan. When Heavy D died, he sent a letter straight from the White House that they read right at Heavy D's funeral. So he's a fan of hip-hop.
Yeah.
He was
just can't say he likes Ice-T. He can't say and it was funny when he ran, I said, you know what, I'm not going to come out and publicly support the man because they'll try to connect him to me, and I got Cop Killer on my record, and they'll try to, but in the shadows, we had the brothers back for real, but I know that about a lot of things. Me, I'm a very polarizing person. Some people got a bad attitude about me, others love me, and I like it like that. I like it. I like people to say, well, Ice-T, he's still a problem, ain't he? Like, yeah, I like it.
Well, when that stops,
Barack's on his way out. He may even call us and do an interview.
I wish Barack. That's why I said if Barack leaves, once you get out and you can comb your afro out, Barack, come on by the podcast and you can tell me where the spaceships are, and you can tell me all the good shit. I know you've been holding your tongue for 8 years, homie. You want to put the Wu-Tang T-shirt on. You want to, I mean, I just know he's that cool, man. But where are you at now, Marley, in life? What's the next big endeavor that we can help you with on the podcast? Let people know.
I'll tell you what I'm into now. I'm into like doing my scenes, my music for scenes for movies and stuff like that. I got my feet wet. My first one that I really did back in the day was when we did Colors.
Right. Okay.
We did the Colors soundtrack, and that right there, it showed me how to score movies, how to score scenes, because you said it yourself. In Colors, I had about five songs in the damn movie, and those was in the scenes. So we had to stripe them to the scenes, and then later on we did Jersey Drive. So from there, you know, I was always doing those little scenes, and then they called me to do the one with Notorious. Sometimes I do some of the little battle scenes in the Step Up series now. Yeah. So, you know, it's all
so
good.
we got to get with you because, you know, we trying to make movies over here, Final Level Productions. You got the skills for we got a couple of productions right now. We're trying to do one called Southside, one taking to East New York. Gotcha. Trying to get some scripted drama out there ourselves, you know.
There you go. There you
but
go.
we, you know, you're the man for the music.
You just came from that thing called what? Pele? What's that thing you was at?
Yeah, but that's
trying to get in. We trying to get in.
I actually hooked Tim's story up, my homie, with Dick Wolf, because he wants to do television. You know, we just networking, moving up, changing the game, changing the look, because you know it's all entertainment
all the time. That's what I tell them. I mean, some people always come to me and say, "Yo, you know, them cats on TV, they ain't real." I'm like, dude, calm down. This is entertainment. It's not real, all right?
Yeah.
This is entertainment. That's what I'm saying. It's entertainment. Calm down. It's not real. You have to entertain the people.
You want to see real? This go on YouTube. There's some dumbass nigga on there cooking crack.
You know what I mean?
Or
robbing somebody with a camera.
Going to jail. Right. That's real. Real is gone crazy.
On CSI Cyber. They write on CSI Cyber catching his address, idiot.
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's the business. So everybody can still listen to you on BLS?
Yes, I'm on BLS every day with my girl Shayla. Definitely number one. You know, we beating up.
What time that come on?
That's every day, 12 noon. We beating up Light FM and CBS. The other stations are not even in the race. What we doing?
Now, let's say somebody is in the business, an artist,
right?
And they like, fuck the bullshit. I want a real producer. I don't want to go to any of these big people. I want to get to Marley Marl. I want some classic sounds. Would you actually work with him?
It depends. I mean, I'm not looking for the next biggest rapper. I'm kind of like past that.
Okay.
You know, I'm chilling right now. But you know,
well, maybe they catch your ear. They'll
catch my ear. But I'll tell you what I'm really into. I'm into, like, you know, an artist that was out that has a fan base. You know, I'll make a beat for somebody like that.
Remix it.
You know, remix or fix it up or, you know, do stuff like that. But I'm really not looking for the next new super rapper right now.
Right.
Not like that. It's, you know, it's a little different. What I really think,
I hear you.
I think the game needs gatekeepers.
Right.
Because it's kind of got so way out of hand where anything goes. You know, it used to be a time where you couldn't sound like somebody. You know, now, you know, everybody sounds the same. You know, even names are the same. Even the names are the same. Come on, it's another Marley Marl out there that's trying to come through the cracks on TV. So come on.
There is?
How corny is that?
Where that at?
There's a Marley Marl. What is he, a rapper?
It's a producer guy on MTV, Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, it's
how the nigga can just steal your name?
It's serious. It's like, this how whack it is out there where, you know,
they don't have their own identity.
I heard somebody got close to me. There's one cat out there called Iceberg.
See?
But they ain't gone to Ice-T yet.
Yeah.
I'll go see a nigga named Ice-T.
They don't have their own fucking identity, bro.
That's just weird that like, how did it get that whack that people can't even think of own names to come out with?
Damn.
You
that's
get what
corny.
I'm saying?
That's corny.
That's corny to me.
Yeah, we boycotting whoever you is, homie. Change your name from Marley Marl. Respect
corny.
the OG, man.
Respect,
Come on
baby.
with that. That's not cool.
That's crazy, right there.
What part of hip hop is that, man?
Yeah, what part of hip hop is that? You're right.
Exactly. I'm saying that's because they don't have their own identity. He don't even know his own fucking name. That's what it is. We have the original DJ Marley Marl in the goddamn building. Who are you?
There you go.
In the beginning of the original Gangster record, I say, you know, I tried to write like that, and my boy said, that don't sound like you, that sounds like them. You know, like you sounding too much like somebody else. And I remember when, you know the white rapper Everlast.
Yes.
He came out. When he first came to me, he sounded like Rockin.
Right, damn sure
he had a voice.
How's that dude?
He had his voice like that. And he'll, you know, Eric will tell you, I said, you got to rap in your own voice, man. You can't. Even though you got the flow, you cannot do that because it was unacceptable in them days. You can't.
Yeah.
I can't put you out and people say, "Well, he sound like Ra." You got the rhymes. Just use your own voice.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of times you love somebody so much. I could tell people who love Tupac because when I listen to them, they're like
cadences.
The cadences. Yeah, it's not an original thing.
Yeah.
Hey, but Marley. Good to have you on the podcast, man.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. Always got love for you.
How could people reach you?
Marley Skills at Instagram and Twitter. And you can check me out at just go to www.djmarleymarl.com. It's so simple right there.
And I can hear you on BLS in New York City. Is that show syndicated?
On BLS, you got me every day with Shayla, and then you got Golden Era Radio on Friday nights, www.wbls.com. And you can check us out on iHeartRadio. You know,
See,
all the
he's
streams.
crazy. He's all over the place.
That's what
And
it
still producing.
Yeah.
all the time.
Still producing.
That's what's up. All right, Marley, we're going to get back to this podcast. You ready? We got a couple more segments.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, everybody out there, this is podcast number 41 with Mr. Mickey Benson. And this is one of the favorite segments. And this is called I'm Not
a hater, but I hate shit.
And you know, Marley, we ain't haters. Haters are envious motherfuckers, but we all got something that bothers us. Is there anything that just gets on your nerves that you wish? I think you already said niggas naming themselves after
Yeah, that
you.
one there. You're not a hater, but you hate that shit. Am I right?
I hate that shit for real.
Copycat.
Yeah.
That's real corny.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's
He's
the
a
corniest ever right there.
copycatter.
I mean, that's the corniest thing ever right there.
He's a copycatter.
Even going in the studio, I've gone in the studio with people, and I'm like, okay, let's hear what you're trying to do. And I heard it, and I'm like, that's already out, dog. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be original. Have the courage.
You know what I hate? I live in New York City. We live in New York City. We fly a lot. We take a lot of airplanes. And sometimes when you go to the airport, they're like, well, there was cited today. There was, 60 birds, and it might get into the airplane, so we're not going to be able to take off. We will not be able to land. But some of you idiots are truly flying the drones by the airport.
What part of the game is that?
I don't think they travel. That is very unsafe for us that be on them planes. Plus, you're giving people ideas on what they can do to take us down. Can y'all please do us a favor and keep that shit away from the
Easy
airport?
on the drones.
Easy on the drones. They say drones will be the number one gift this Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And there's going to be hundreds of them. We know Amazon wants to use them to bring packages. Walmart, you were saying earlier, they want to get into it.
The package delivery.
And drones are going to be all in the air, and they're going to have restrictions. But what Mickey is saying is, let's think about it. Don't fly a drone anywhere there's airplanes or anything. They say that they're flying them now in L.A. You know, we have the brush fires.
Right, there you go.
So everyone's out there trying to fly their drone over the brush fires to get a shot, but that's where the rescue planes got to come.
Exactly.
So now they can't,
And if it's too much smoke and too much fire and it gets caught and they wing, that can take that plane down.
So have some common sense with the drone. I got a drone story, right? We're having a meeting at my house when we were doing the Ice and Cocoa Talk show, which is going to come back. Right now it's in syndication, segue to that. We're trying to do the deals with that. But I'm sitting in my house, and all of a sudden a drone just lifts up and sits right parallel with my window, and it's looking at us.
Did you feel safe with that?
I wanted to shoot it, but I didn't have a shotgun on hand, right? And I was like, well, what's going on? So I go out, and it's just sitting there. It's like some space shit. It's looking at me. Then the camera looks at me. I swear to God. Wow. So then I go over my ledge, and I look down, and there's two guys down there running it. Well, what it is the house right next to me is still being built, and he had paid some people to do an aerial view of the property.
Okay.
But when they started their drone, they started off by looking in my crib. It makes you want to spy. Yeah. Like, they probably had no intention on doing it, but they saw us, and they were just checking it out. Mm-hmm. So I went outside and said, hey, what y'all looking at? Oh, hey, Ice, how you doing? We're doing this, that, and the other.
Nah, they're trying to take that shit down.
No, they gave me, you know what they did for me? They took some pictures of my crib from the drone and gave them to me.
Because remember the other drone that had the gun on it? Remember that one,
Oh, yeah,
Tim?
on the internet, yeah.
Yeah, the guy put a gun on the drone and was shooting. Had the drone in the air, shooting.
Yeah, you can arm them. Why not?
I mean, so why would I want the drone to be sitting looking in my house and I don't know who the hell you are?
Somebody loaded up with a drone with the gun and started wailing off, bro.
Yeah, well, the drones is the next big situation. But let me tell you some good game I learned from Dick Wolf, one of my mentors and my boss. There is nothing you can do about the future. It's coming.
We don't have a problem with that.
So, in other words, anything you don't like about the future, get used to it because it's like it's just
coming.
Gonna get
no, we understand
crazier.
it, but I'm saying, can you be a little more respectfully about that problem? Because that's all I'm saying.
I get it, but I'm just saying.
Have you been riding your hover?
Yo, dude, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just think there's gonna be drones. There's a cool drone right now. If you guys are listening, go to Lily Drone on the internet. Google it. This is a drone that follows a tracking device on your wrist, and
They need that so kids don't get kidnapped.
you're going to be, in the
like
future,
that.
you might send your kid to school and say, take your drone and have it follow you to school and then put it in your
Or if
locker.
you're in the hood, you want to get that police brutality on tape. You have that drone follow your Lily drone following you. You walk the streets and it's over your head. It's,
Well, the
it's
Jetsons are
following
here,
everything.
baby. The Jetsons
It's
are here,
100%.
baby.
This is just the first really year where the drones are really being popularized.
Wow.
Give us 10 years.
Oh, it's coming, but I'm just saying be
They'll have a drone that'll
sensible.
probably come out the back of your phone like, just take off.
Go get me a soda.
Yeah.
Real
And
talk.
bring it back to you.
So we're not haters, but we hate people that abuse their drones and put people in harm.
That's
Be
what
cool
I'm
with drone. And the next drone that pop up by my window is gonna get shot down. It's gonna see what the
Album's
motherfucker.
called Manslaughter. Talk shit, get shot.
It's gonna see what the Benelli do.
And that was,
I'm not a hater.
but I hate shit.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes, I think very deeply.
And this is the final segment of it with DJ Marley Marl. And this is what we call our philosophy segment. Philosophy segment is brought to you by my Twitter page, which is Final Level. And I do this thing every day. I call it the Daily Game. And I was watching this movie the other day about Amy Winehouse. Mm-hmm. Now, anybody out there that knows anything about Amy Winehouse, this is one of the most terrible tragedies in music history. This girl was like Ella Fitzgerald, the way she sung, and she was good friends with Mos Def, and you know, it shows how when she was going through her drug addiction and all this stuff that, you know, we thought it was okay to make jokes about it. But this is a quote from Tony Bennett, and I love it. He says, "Life teaches you how to live it if you can live long enough."
That's real talk.
And I think what that means is, like, we all know in our younger days how easily we could have died. And I remember Jay-Z said on his record, I ain't never going to jail because I passed that dangerous point. Mm-hmm. And now the way you move as you get older, the kids say you old, but it's just wisdom.
Yeah.
And as you get a little bit older, you kind of learn how to live life. You learn what to get excited about. Like they say, wisdom is knowing what to let go.
Gotcha.
You know, just let that go. I was telling Coco today when I was here, I said, you know, whenever somebody tries to put you in a position to go at them, there's a box. I look at it like a box. And if you're on that side over there talking shit to me, I can either ignore you, I can avoid you. But if I cross that line, I'm coming to get you. I'm not coming to talk to you. So I have to make those decisions when to cross that line. I'm not the guy that's gonna come across over there to get in your face, Marley, and hope somebody pulls us away from each other. When I cross that line, I'm coming. So as you get older, you just have to let so much pass because you know me coming across that line probably gonna end up with both of us in jail or both of us hurt severely, you know?
Right.
And you have to let a lot go, man.
Sometimes.
You got to.
The moral of the story is, the older you get, the smarter you should be getting.
Yeah.
Okay?
and-
Amy Winehouse was a great person, like you said.
She just didn't
People
get to live
didn't pay
long
attention
enough.
to the signals, and those that were with her, like my sister Whitney, wouldn't help them. Sometimes y'all hurting them more than anything by being there, not
Watch
saying
the movie. It's on Netflix. It's called Amy. You know what I'm saying? And it shows you just what it's like for somebody to get thrown off into show business and seeing so many people, leeches, boyfriends, people around them. And, you know, now you passed away. I mean, she was in her early 20s and stuff. But Tony Bennett said in the movie, he said, life will teach you how to live it if you can just live long enough. And that was philosophy. Hey, Marley Marl, man, we out of here, Jack.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being, man.
Before we leave, Marley, can you tell these people how to contact you if someone is looking for you? Like you say, you will work with retroactive artists. You're not looking for no new
retroactive Mictionary.
There it is.
Mictionary.
There you go. There you go.
There it is, baby.
Dictionary.
There it is, baby.
Retroactive,
baby. There it is. That's it, man. That's my shit right there. Now, you're not looking for no new artists.
It's retro.
But it's retro. Fuck
it's
retro.
retro artists, not retroactive.
I got it. Leave that right there. Marley?
Yes.
Go for it.
DJMarleyMarl.com. It goes down like that. At Marley Skills Twitter. You know how it goes. I'm there.
Hey, Mick Benzo.
Hey, I'm Mick Benzo.
One
man.
for the Mictionary.
Retroactive, man. Not
retro.
Retro. That goes in the Mictionary.
I know her.
There it is. You know Rate You Too?
We out of here.
Be good.
That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm living.